Welcome, dear viewers, to our regular international discussions on Creative Society platform, which is providing an open and honest communication to all non-indifferent people in the world, where we can actually discuss all the pressing issues of our modern world. And moreover, we can actually discuss the way out of these problems, which is changing the format from consumer format to creative one. And these international discussions are created for all the people who are ready to speak up, who want to speak up, who already see and face the reality. And we would like to let you know that all of you are welcome to join these discussions. These discussions are actually made for you. And if you would like to join these discussions, you can contact us at our email, info@creativesociety.com, or you can also contact us at all of our official Creative Society social media platforms, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and so on. And now, dear viewers, we would like to draw your attention to unique international online forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, which took place on May 7th, 2022. And this forum was prepared by participants of the Creative Society, independent volunteers from around the world. And the forum was translated into 100 languages and streamed on thousands of media platforms. And during the forum, we actually discussed multiple topics and facts. And we presented all of these things. And actually, these topics and facts are not covered by mainstream media. And one very discussed topic nowadays is climate change. You can actually hear about it from every corner. And our independent volunteers have daily monitored climate and geodynamic events since the last conference, which took place on December 4th, 2021. And guess what? They showed that there hasn't been a single day without a climate disaster which is claiming human lives. Climate news is like coverage from a war zone. And are we aware of the tremendous losses humanity has already incurred in this war? While our attention is diverted away from the only common enemy which we have, which is climate, we are losing millions of human lives.
Yes, and disasters are now happening all around the planet. For example, yesterday we've seen a major earthquake in Peru. Just a few days ago, there were storms in Western Europe, or we can see dust storms in Iraq. So in a very short period of time, the intensity and frequency of these disasters increased dramatically, and this is very scary. Any country, any city could be the site of the next deadly climate attack. Most people have not yet realized that the full-scale climate war against humanity is underway. A deadly war. And what is a war? This is a pain, inhumane suffering, grief, despair. This is fear. And this is what people who are already affected by the climate are experiencing. And we continue to live as if nothing happened, and if nothing has happened. And to make matters worse, we are also destroying, and we are
disappear. These conferences and forums were currently existing in the consumerist format. Many events are held daily, a number of conferences and forums that have a certain content. But if you want to join these forums, you have to buy a ticket that is often quite expensive. Sometimes registration is required, or you have to meet special conditions to get to a certain event. You have to expect special invitation to attend. And why was this forum so unique and exceptional? This forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, it's been organized on a volunteer basis. If you want to watch it, you don't need any special ticket, no special card. You just need to click and watch almost 12 hours of full and high-quality content. This forum has been translated into 100 languages. As already mentioned, you can really learn the bare truth about the whole situation, about the world we live right now. Also, we currently live in a world of fake news. It's actually news that misleads or directs our attention in a certain direction. And when we watch this flow of information, we don't know for ourselves whether this information was or is correct, can it be trusted, or it is misleading or lie. And our forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, is also unique in that all the information, all the facts, all the charts that have been carefully verified and have been taken from official sources only. And I would like also to share with you why I was actively involved in the preparation and implementation of this forum. I'll tell you my personal story. When I was little, my grandmother, who lived during the First and Second World Wars, she often said to my mother, "We have left you a better world." The better world than she lived in. My mother, who had 3 children, including me, often turned to us and also told us, "We have also built a better world and better society for you." Now I am a mom. I have 2 near-grown sons, and I can basically say, addressing to my children and tell, "Boys, we are leaving you with a better world than we lived in." But I know that unless we build the creative society, this is a big lie. I cannot tell this to my children because if we don't build the creative society, we leave the world in a disarray, a world of a global crisis where they have no future. So this is my huge motivation and also my responsibility. That is what my grandmother and my mother taught me, that we as adults are responsible not only for our future, but for the future of our children and our descendants. And that's why I wholeheartedly invite everyone to watch the forum Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, because you get a global view of the world we live. And also, quite proudly, I can really say that this forum is also very educational. You will learn so many things that you may not have even known before. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Katerina, for sharing your opinion about the forum. And I truly support what you are saying. Actually, my grandmother used to say the same thing, that we need actually to live a better future than we received from our parents and from our grandparents. And that's why it is especially important for those people who have children and would like, to see the future generations of their family need to invest right now their time and efforts in building the creative society. I'd like to ask the same question. I would like to address actually the same question to Joseph. Joseph, also at the International Forum, there were quite many topics covered, what touched you personally the most? Share with us your opinion, please.
Hello, liebe Freunde.
Hello, dear friends. First of all, thank you for the invitation for this great conversation. 11 hours of the forum was a new experience for me. And there were really hard things in it. Hunger, thirst. People are dying all over the world. And we can't find out the truth. And through the forum, we have learned that truth. And it was hard, but against the background of all this history, I must say that I remember the topic of Was Hot well enough, and I liked it very much because Was Hot is a complex, is a genius idea of XP Energy. And Was Hot is set up in such a way that you can overview, for example, an entire country, and the information that is coming, there's a huge amount of data in the world, it's terabytes and terabytes of data, and it's all hard to track. But Was Hot can track it all and provide transparency of information. And that is very important. What is a serious difficulty in today's world is corruption. Corruption is everywhere. There are over 180 countries in the world, and there is corruption in each one of them. And Was Hot can easily meet this challenge, reduce corruption to zero in a short time. So, XP Energy Company has said that it will give this complex to the first country that wants to implement the creative society, or so to speak, incorporate the 8 foundations into its policies. But what is this? What had happened? Why didn't any country want to use Was Hot in the consumerist society? The answer is simple. Who wants to put themselves into jail? Because Was Hot detects any corruption, any wrong transfer of money or to bank or whatever. There's a corruption in every country, so why would anyone introduce Was Hot in a consumer society in their own country? Because it will not work in that society. In the creative society, it will work, and I would like to share that. Thank you.
Monika, you were involved also in the preparations for the last forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live. Could you please share what was the most inspiring for you and how was your preparation work?
Thank you so much, Anya. Greetings to friends and the viewers. I am really happy and excited to be here today to express my feelings and impressions after the conference Global Crisis, We Are People We Want to Live, which was initiated and organized by people from all around the globe. It was made by people for other people to bring them the truth. And you know, it is unbelievable what people can do when they are united by one goal. And you understand that we can change the whole world. And we are actually changing it already right now. And when speaking about the conference, frankly, I have to admit that it was really hard to watch. There were so many strong and heartbreaking moments about our enemy, which is called climate, about war, but mainly about witnesses, about ordinary people who are dying out there for nothing because of this consumerist format of society, because of our inaction. And, you know, I was thinking all the time, how could we allow this to happen? How can we live in such a terrible world? And this conference had to be done. The truth had to be said, because right now we are living like animals. We are not living like humans. And, you know, human life in this format of society has no value. And guys, it's terrible. In this format, we are like cattle, and our life has no meaning, and we do not have the guarantee of tomorrow. And those witnesses that were shown on the conference, you know, many of them thought that life is great, everything is okay. And one morning they woke up and the war comes. And, you know, many people were killed, abused, children and women were raped. And then the other thing is the climate, which is also seriously changing due to a 12,000-year cycle. And also many witnesses said that I thought that it might never happen to me, you know, it might happen to someone else, but not to me. And one beautiful day, a tornado or hurricane comes and destroying everything around. And, you know, the worst thing is that many people saw their kids dying. Can you imagine that? And it can happen to you or me at any moment. And I would like to take this moment and address these words to people out there who are watching us right now. Guys, friends, let's be honest and let's not play anymore. We are not kids, we are grown people. And I think that everybody understands, feels and sees what is going on right now. And I know that the truth is really hard, and it's hard to accept the reality because our reality is really sad and shocking. But how can we change the world and the situation when we don't know what to change? And, you know, the worst thing is that this is all our fault. And many people will tell right now, how can it be our fault? I did nothing bad. But we were silent. We did not do nothing. We were inactive and we were so egoistic and just thought about ourselves. But, you know, I have a question for you. Are you really so inhuman that you do not care that your children won't have any future? You know, there were such strong words at the conference that every day of our inaction, every day when we do nothing, every day when we are silent, there are thousands people who are dying because of this. And I just have a question for you. Are you ready to accept this? Are you ready to accept these consequences? But what is a good thing is that why we are making all these roundtables, all these discussions and all this conference is that there is a solution, and that solution is so simple, and it's the creative society. And the creative society, just let me explain a few sentences what it is. It is the society where human life is the highest value, where there is a guarantee of tomorrow, and there is, each person has the guarantee for the safety. And by changing the format of the society, by changing all those conditions, we can change everything. And, you know, this is so amazing because you understand that this is our chance, and it is the one and the only chance how for us, for humanity, how to survive all of this and how to build a completely different world. Because we are humans. In the end, we are humans. We are not animals. We are humans. We are people. And I bet that each of us want to live like humans. So I would just like to recommend you to watch the conference because there are so many important information. Then if you have the chance to share the information with everybody, but the most important thing right now is to talk and tell people, every single person on earth, about the creative society, because this is the most important thing. It's the first stage of building creative society, and actually it's something what we are actively doing right now. And whether we will succeed or not, it also depends on you and your choice, whether you will prolong to be silent and support all of that. Because when we are silent, that's the other way how to say, yes, I support this, what is going on. But you can also take the responsibility and start acting. You know, Leslie said on the conference that the choice is between life and death. And if you want to live, and if you love your family, if you love your friends, your kids, and you want them to have a future, then come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monika, for sharing your understanding and your opinion about the forum. I totally agree with you that on the one hand, unfortunately, we have built the world a miserable world, a world of violence, a world of greed, a world of consumeristic format. And it is horrible with its reality. But on the other hand, there is a good news. Right now, we understand that there is a way out of these multiple horrible situations, and the solution is very simple. And we call it the creative society. However, many people are asking, where does that creative society begin? Many people still believe, unfortunately, and I want to mention about that some people believe that the creative society begins with the amendment, which is adopted, for example, by the government, or the law adopted by the parliament. However, it is not. Everything is much more simple, and the creative society begins here, right here and here, when we make a decision to live and build a different world. The world where, like you mentioned, the highest value is the life of every human being. And as soon as we understand that, the things are going to start changing for the better very, very quickly. I'd like to ask right now, Anna. Anna, please share with us what information or what episode from the forum opened your eyes and helped you to understand something deeper. Share with us your opinion as well, please.
Welcome, dear viewers. Konstantin, you are totally right. We have forgotten our morals. I was very touched by the great injustice between people and division that we have done to each other. How can people become so inhuman? It's so sad that we act like this and push all this consumption, this wheel of consumption forward instead of slowing it down, instead of stopping it and finally looking at these human values. That was very touching for me when I translated the texts for the conference, which took place on May 7th, 2022. During the simultaneous interpreting, I also was impressed. It was very hard for me to understand how low we fall down. Only the pictures, the photos alone of refugees, of children who drink from a puddle of water. Would we really want such a future for our children? And, you know, we look at it all as if it doesn't concern us. It doesn't correspond with humaneness. Where is humaneness in this world? I ask myself all the time. Of course, there are people with big hearts, as they say, but of course they would be constrained somehow, and they cannot do anything further. These borders by which we support in this world, they must be stopped. We should finally begin to become human beings and finally treat each other well. Thanks to the 8 foundations of the creative society, we can do it in the best way possible with the common goal of changing the entire world. Thank you very much.
Очень много тем, они показывают всю существующую абсурдность того потребительского формата.
Thank you very much, Anna. Really, this whole subject, this whole video show the entire absurdity of the consumerist format of society which we are living in now. And one of the subjects which you have just touched upon is the subject of drinking water. It is so remarkable that there are people who die because they don't have a glass of drinking water, children who die because they don't have a glass of drinking water. And this happens at a time when we have everything we need so that no one on earth would need either water or food, and they would have a house with everything provided in it. How is this possible? Why in our consumer society we tolerate such criminal negligence and deliberate cruelty? And all this is based on our inaction if we do not change the consumerist format into creative one. Now let's watch all together an excerpt from the forum We Are People, We Want to Live. It's a video dedicated to the subject of water.
ينقسم العالم إلى أولئك الذين يعانون من نقص شديد في المياه وأولئك الذين ما زالوا يملكونها. وفقا لبيانات الأمم المتحدة، تحتاج الإنسانية إلى الانتباه لأزمة المياه التي تلوح في الأفق، وهذا على الرغم من حقيقة أننا نعرف في الوقت الحاضر كيفية استخراج المياه من الهواء وحتى في المنطقة الأكثر جدباً. المياه من الضباب. في واحدة من أكبر العواصم في العالم، ليما التي تقع في الصحراء، يتم جمع الضباب في شبكات ضخمة ويستخدم لإنتاج مياه الشرب. وتمتلك المغرب واحدة من أكبر النباتات التي تنتج ما يصل إلى 6000 لتر من المياه الشرب يومياً من الضباب، ولا تكلف عملية تشغيلها أي شيء ولا تتطلب أي طاقة خارجية. مياه من الهواء. مولدات مياه المطر تسمح لك باستخراج ما يصل إلى 3000 لتر من مياه الشرب يومياً، ويمكن زيادتها إلى ما يصل 1,000,000 لتر. يمكن أن تكون متنقلة وثابتة، ويمكنهم العمل في أي مصدر للطاقة في أي مناخ حتى في الصحراء القاحلة. تستخدم لاحتياجات الجيش في بعض البلدان وأثبتت قدرتها في حالات الطوارئ. على سبيل المثال، في عام 2010 بعد زلزال هايتي أنتج المولد آلاف جالونات المياه النظيفة للشرب وغسل الجروح والجراحة. هل توافق على الموت من العطش في وجود هذه التكنولوجيا الحديثة؟ وحدات تحلية المياه. في جميع أنحاء العالم تقوم حوالي 16,000 محطة تحلية على تنقية مياه المحيط من الملح وتحويلها إلى مياه عذبة، ويمكنهم إنتاج ملايين الجالونات من المياه العذبة يومياً وتزويد 300 مليون شخص بها. تتيح التطورات المبتكرة بالفعل أن تكون محطات تحلية المياه صديقة للبيئة والعمل حتى على طاقة موجات المحيط وليس إيذائه، ويمكنهم الاحتفاظ بالمعادن اللازمة في المياه لري الحقول واستخراج المعادن من المحلول الملحي المتبقى. هذا هو منتهى السخرية والقسوة في نهاية المطاف عندما يموت ملايين الناس من العطش في البلدان الموجودة على سواحل المحيط بينما تتوفر هذه التقنيات. وهذا هو جوهر الشكل الاستهلاكي للمجتمع الذي نعيش فيه. إعادة معالجة المياه. لقد مرت التكنولوجيا على العديد من الاختبارات، والمياه آمنة حتى للشرب وتتجاوز جودتها معايير منظمة الصحة العالمية. في أثناء ذلك، كل دقيقتين يموت طفل واحد من مرض يتعلق بالماء الملوث. يستخدم ملياري شخص في العالم مصادر مياه الشرب الملوثة بالبراز. بحلول عام 2025 سيعيش نصف سكان العالم في مناطق ذات ندرة في المياه. في غضون 3 سنوات فقط سيكون شخص كل ثانية. في الواقع ليس لدينا حتى هذه السنوات الثلاث. بسبب تغير المناخ يتغير الوضع على هذا الكوكب بسرعة كل يوم، وتأتي المتاعب من حيث لم يكن أحد يتوقعها. إذن ما الذي ستختار شخصياً؟ الموت من العطش أو شرب الماء الملوث بالبراز؟ هذا هو الخيار الذي لديك في مجتمع استهلاكي. في الوقت الحاضر تمتلك الإنسانية جميع التقنيات اللازمة لتوفير الماء للشرب للجميع، ولكن في الشكل الاستهلاكي، ويتم إنفاق التريليونات لقتل الناس وإنقاذ حياتنا مكلف للغاية. من خلال تقاعسنا فإننا ندعم هذا الشكل القاسي والمسدود المخيف لمجتمع المستهلكين، وهو الشكل الذي لن يتم فيه حل هذه المشكلات أبداً، لأن بقائنا من أجل مجتمع المستهلك يعني الأرباح. الربح في الوقت الحاضر أكثر أهمية من حياتنا، وموتنا مجرد أرقام، والسبيل الوحيد للخروج هو تغيير الشكل. أهم شيء يمكنك القيام به الآن لإنقاذ حياتك وحياة أحبائك وجميع الناس على هذا الكوكب هو الانضمام ونشر المعلومات حول المجتمع الإبداعي، لأنه فقط عن طريق تغيير شكل المجتمع سنكون قادرين على إعطاء أولوية لقيمة حياة الإنسان، وسنقدم التكنولوجيا المتقدمة في كل مكان ونضمن حماية حياة كل شخص. اعمل الآن على نشر معلومات حول المجتمع الإبداعي.
And unfortunately, the question that I'd like to raise right now for the discussion and address to our today's speakers: how come that today in the world with so many advanced technology, there is still an absurdity that on the one hand, some people are enjoying full spectrum of technologies, clean water, warm housing, but on the other part of the world, we have people suffering and having nothing, even clean water in their houses, which is so much vital, important for every person to live in the world. What is your opinion about this, Monika? Can you answer this question first, please?
Thank you so much, Konstantin. Well, I would say welcome to the consumerist format of society, which is, paradox, as you said, that and that was also portrayed in the video, that we have already today technologies that they can provide water to every person on earth, but every day there are thousands of children and people who are dying because of lack of water. And the worst thing is that it's all because human life in this format of society has no value. And the saying, money makes the world go round, and that's indeed true. It's profit for some people is more valuable than human's life, and it shouldn't be like that.
Thank you, Monika. Indeed, we also participated together with our team when we participated in the preparations for the forum. We talked to scientific experts, researchers from various fields. They also shared that there are technologies which are safe for the environment. There are technologies that can minimize our impact. For example, if we take agriculture, it's already in such a form which exists at its utmost, not from the environmental and other aspect, but it can no longer cope with the challenges. Indeed, there are technologies such as vertical farms, which are available everywhere on Earth, regardless of whether it is the Arctic or the desert. Vertical farms can solve the problems of food supplies. It's a known fact, but it's unprofitable for the existing institutions. So these very vertical farms, without using any pesticides, produce absolutely organic products, which would enable us to feed everyone and to solve the very problem of what leads people to hunger. Not like in the consumer society where funds are allocated to simulate a solution of problems as a consequence. I mean, we allocate money to solve some consequence, but we do not solve the very essence of the problem, so that more and more money is allocated to this fighting against the consequence. This is really a working mechanism to make money. Actually, we have the technology of 3D printing of organs, but we still have millions of people dying because they cannot get necessary organs quickly and on time for transplantation. But this technology does exist, and it can already be used. It already exists in our society, but it is still being pushed back. It is becoming very expensive, or it is not demanded. Again, we should understand that the technology is available. If we as society say, yes, it is our priority, we want to preserve our human lives, all people's lives, without ranking to any groups or classes, without artificial divisions. We are people, we want to live, we have water extraction technologies, food extraction technologies, we can produce quality body organs, for example. But why don't we have this now in society? Because there is no priority of the value of human life. And this very understanding that it's not that we don't have it or don't know how to live well. We're all people. We all feel how to live by conscience. We all know what is good for us as people. We all know how to live a life in peace and harmony, without any poverty, without wars or hunger. But each of us wants that. Each of us feels it. But we are kind of, bump into a kind of a system, a kind of machine where everyone says, how come it's all so big and I'm so small? How can I influence it? How can I influence my close relative, for example, who is sick, to get what he needs? Or how can I feed the children? The answer is yes, you can. Here, each of us is a participant in the entire society. We are a unit of it, but all of us together. If each of us declares our desire to live in the creative society, to live in a human way, to live with the priority of human life, then it is possible. It is realistic and totally easy. If each of us says, I want to live in the creative society. Now I would like to also ask Anna, could you please share? You probably faced in your work or in your life some examples of technologies which might be demanded in the creative society. Yes, as you said, people act mostly for profit. for benefit, and that's how the entire world is arranged. All people strive to, value of every life. During my work, I can see that people are blinded and they see only money. Machines, they play are pure happiness for them. It's difficult for me even to imagine that people in this world see only money and do not notice how much money they lose when they gamble on a daily basis. It's just unbelievable. But that's not the point. Politics in every country is not economical either. For example, in Germany alone, we are forced to throw about 12 million tons of food every year because of expiration date. But we could have thought ahead and give this food to the needy people so that they don't have to pick up from the trash cans. We could have think economically and ahead of time and take care of people. Now, about $14 trillion are spent on conflicts, military conflicts, where we face problems every day because we disagree and everyone has their own ideology. This brings us down totally, and we spend so much money on some consumerist institutions and organizations. These funds are taken from our taxes, but it all leads to nothing. Out of this money and out of this time, at least something wonderful should be created. Every person should be saved. And surely all this is quite possible. But we must be vigilant. And as I say, not be like gamblers in gambling houses and casinos. People are blinded, they don't see it, they don't want to see it because we live in such a world. Unfortunately, that's the consumerist society is all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for sharing your opinion. You have rightly mentioned about the food, and that's true that today about 2.5 million tons of food are wasted every day and not getting to the shelves of the supermarket, which is insane, actually. If we divide that amount of food between those people who need it, that will be approximately 3.5 kilograms per person. And we know that approximately over 800 million of people go to bed hungry. Katerina, the next question I'd like to address to you, why people, we know, I would like just to make a short introduction, we know that we do have technologies. We know we have technologies how to make up clean water from the air or from the ocean. We have technologies which enable us to produce more than enough of food for everyone. We have technologies to produce more than enough of clothes to everyone. But still, from your point of view, why people are holding so tight for the consumerist format instead of start building the creative format actively?
Ďakujem za slovo. Mňa sa tiež dotkol
Thank you so much for your word. I was also touched by this video about water, so I also started looking for more information about the water. I would also like to share it with you. We know that without water, we can survive a maximum 5 days, maximum just even 9 days, and then body dies. And what do we see? Exactly, we see that in a consumer society, we know that technologies exist, and we keep them. We still don't produce water for every single person in the world. I live in the country where we have enough drinking water. It is difficult for many in the world to understand that we even use drinking water in toilets, fill swimming pools, Use it in the bathroom, water grass with it. I do not criticize or complain about this. I just want to point out that every person in the world should have such access to drinking water, because it is impossible to live without water. And we know that such technologies exist, as it was said in the video we just watched. In my country, as I said, there is enough water, but its price is rising every year. And now or tomorrow it may happen that water will become a luxury resource for us. But water is our right. Water should not be a luxury commodity. Every person should have access to water and a sufficient amount of clean water. As has been said, no one in our society cares about our lives. And no one, no country, no government in the world, no organization or group will save us. I remember what eyewitnesses said on the forum. No one helped them. So now I come back to the answer why we still have this consumer format of society. Maybe people don't know that we have another option, that only we can change the format of society. So when we understand that no one will solve our problems for us, let's stop waiting for someone to come. And it's really time for us to help ourselves by uniting. And we should stop supporting the consumer format of society that actually kills us. We should focus our attention on a creative format of society that will give us a better life. And as it was said in the video, it will give us enough of water and food for every single person in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarina. This is really a very important insight, and there are only 2% of the world drinking water, and we often forget about that the water which we have, it is extremely valuable, and it belongs to all people. All the resources on the planet belong to all people equally. Now I would like to ask Joseph a question. Could you please tell us, why do you think that in the consumer society, technologies that could have served benefit for people's benefit, they are not in demand to the extent that they could really solve those problems? Why is such a situation?
Danke nochmal. Ja, warum?
Thanks again. Right. So, why is that? Because everything is aimed at profit. In the consumer society, everything is aimed at profit. There are several problems in the world. A lot of organizations and still are growing. There are so many organizations for one, for another, for the third problem. Every new catastrophe, every new problem generates a new organization. And all this profit simply arises out of these problems. The more hunger we have, the more money goes into the pockets of various organizations. The less drinking water we have in any part of the world, the more money goes into the pockets of these organizations. And I saw this on the forum and also on the video today again, and there are just 4 possible technologies you mentioned here. So this is, hopefully, I think there are more technologies concerning water. This technology is fascinating. It is so wonderful. 2 or 3 of them are so simple that you can just, build them without big investment. and they collect not 1 or 2 liters of water a day, it's much more, it's thousands of liters of water a day. And it is terrible to see that with so much technology, with so much available water, children are dying, and every 2 minutes a child dies of thirst or disease because they don't have that water to drink.
Diese Wasser, was ist
So
nicht
this
zu
is
trinken.
terrible.
Und wir schauen das alles.
And we're watching all of this.
Wir sind still.
We're watching and yet we are silent.
Und wir sind zugestimmt mit
So
das.
we have agreed
Und
to
das
that.
hat mich erschrocken.
And that, scares me,
Weil hab ich gemerkt,
because
dass
I realized
war
that
auch eine von
I
diesen Menschen,
too was one of those people
unterstützen
who
das
supported
alles,
all
weil
of
ich war
this
still.
because I kept
Ich wollte gar
silent.
nichts sagen. Und dann von diesem Tag, wann
And
habe ich
I
Entscheidung
didn't
getroffen,
want to
zu
say
reden,
anything.
Wahrheit
And
zu
from
sagen.
that day forward, I made
Froh,
the decision
zum Welt,
to speak up
Informationen teilen über
and
kreative
tell the
Gesellschaft.
truth. I'm glad to be able to
Über
share information
Situation, was haben wir selber gebaut? Uns fast 8 Milliarden.
about the creative society with the whole world, about the situations that we have built ourselves. We are almost 8 billion.
Dass wir sind eingeführt mit Psychopathen.
We have allowed
mit Menschen,
psychopaths to lead
haben
us,
nicht
those who
verdient,
don't deserve to be above
über
billions.
Milliarden zu stehen. Wir haben das erlaubt.
We have allowed this,
Und ich weiß, dass
and
kreative Gesellschaft
I know
der
that the
einzige
creative
Weg,
society is
eine
the only
einzige Weg,
way out, the
uns zu
only
retten.
way to save
Alle
us all.
andere Wege führen
All other
zur
ways
Vernichtung.
lead to annihilation.
Werden wir vernichten von
We
Atombombe
will be destroyed by the atomic
oder
bomb
mit
or by
Naturkatastrophen.
natural disasters.
Es ist vollkommen
It is totally
sicher in dieser
unsafe
Gesellschaft, in
in this
Konsumgesellschaft,
society,
in
in the
kreative
consumer
Gesellschaft.
society.
Wir müssen uns
In the creative
zusammenhalten.
society, we have
Mensch
to stick
wie
together
ein Mensch sehen.
and see
Die am
human
größten
beings as
Wert
human beings.
auf dieser
The
Erde,
greatest
einen
value
Mensch zu sehen
on this
und
earth,
nicht Profit und nicht
see the
Gelder.
human being, not for profit,
Einfach
not for
Mensch
money,
zu sehen, Mensch
just
zu
to
sein
see the
und
human being, to
in
be
Liebe
human,
zu leben.
to live in love.
Einfach lassen uns lieben.
Let's just love.
Und wir können alles. Wir haben
And
so
we can
schöne
do
Technologie
everything.
gebaut.
We have
Ich
built
war so froh.
such incredible technology.
3D-Drucker für
I was so
Organe.
happy,
Ich war
like about
so
3D
happy. Das
printers
war
for
so schön.
organs. I was so
Und
happy.
dann
That was,
habe ich
that's
gemerkt,
so great.
ja, aber wie kann ein
And then I
3D-Drucker
realized, yes, but how can
auf Welt kommen, dass
how
wir
can a
alle
3D
haben
printer
Zugang zu
come into the
3D-Drucker,
world
dass
so
wir
that we
können
all
das, wir
have
müssen
access
nicht
to these
5
3D
Jahre warten
printers,
für
that we can do it,
ein Organ und dann sterben in diesem Warteraum, in dieser
So,
Warteschlange,
so that we
weil
don't have
jeder
to wait
Profit.
for 5 years for an organ
Wir können
and die in the
wieder
waiting room
Kriminellen
or in this
und
queue because
Psychopathen
it's all about
Geld
profit again.
verdienen
So how is
auf
it possible that
unseren
criminals
Organen,
and
auf
psychopaths
Organen
can make
von
money
unseren
on
Kindern?
our organs, on our children's
Das
organs?
ist schrecklich.
That is
Und
terrible.
mit so einer Technologie, was wir
And with
bauen,
such
wir
technology that
Menschen,
we
wir
built,
sind groß,
we
wir sind
humans, we
super.
are great, we
Wir
are
haben so
super.
viel
We
Wissenschaftler,
have so many
wir sind
scientists, we are
clever.
smart, we
Wir
can
können
build
Technologie bauen,
technology
was kann
that can
unsere
protect
Erde
our
schützen,
earth.
was kann
It
Erdekern auch
it can also
ins
balance the
Gleichgewicht
Earth's
bringen.
core.
Wir können
We can
das,
do
das ist
that.
kein Problem.
This is not a
Aber
problem,
nur alle zusammen
but
und nur
only all
in
together and
Kreativgesellschaft.
only in the
In
creative
dieser
society.
Gesellschaft,
In
Konsumgesellschaft,
this society, in
das wird
consumer
nicht gehen.
society, it will not work.
Vielen Dank.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Joseph, for sharing your opinion. Right now, as a society, we're facing quite a big range of problems, and these problems have become not local already. They become global. Today, during today's international discussion, we have touched upon just a small range of these problems that we're facing right now, and that's in the face of approaching climate changes, like, for example, Monika mentioned today. And the solution to these very problems, they require the unification of entire civilizations. Monika, from your point of view, what it means, unification of entire humanity in practice? Share with us, please.
Thank you so much. I think that many people misunderstood this term, unification, because many people think that it's some kind of, material unification, that we have to share our houses, like fridges, cars, and we have to hold hands together. But it is not like that. We are already uniting, and the great example is we people who are participants of the Creative Society projects, because we are united by the idea of the creative society and by this inner drive to live. And I think this is so important, because unification is the only way how can we achieve something. And when we have this one goal, and when we are for 100% aware of what we want, and all people want it, then it is so easy to build such a society. We just have to say that, yes, I want to live in the creative society. And I would like to share one story. Recently, I was reading one play. It's called Waiting for Godot. And it is about two men who basically do nothing, and they are waiting for one person, which is called Godot. And they believe that this person will change their life, that everything is going to be amazing then, and it's some kind of hope for them. And every person might interpret it differently, but for me it was amazing association for what is going on right now, that people are waiting for some person to come and change whole situation. But friends, no one is coming, and no one will be coming. And once you understand that it is all in our hands and that we are responsible for all of this, you cannot just sit and watch what is going on in front of you, like all the bad things that are happening in front of eyes. You cannot just be silent and sit and do nothing. And once you understand that everything is in our hands and this is our responsibility, and I would say it is our duty to build such a world, then you start acting. And taking responsibility, it might be stressful for some people, but it is not. It brings so much joy, and you can meet people all around the globe, and you are realizing that we are all humans, and that's what unites us, that we are all humans, and we all want the same. We all want love, we all want peace, we all want dignity conditions, and in the end, you are realizing that we are indeed one big family. And I think that this is also the unification, that we are one big family. And when we are united, trust me, we are capable of such things we can't even think of. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a great association. Katerina, I would also like to turn to you and ask you a question. Why do you think the unification we are talking about now is very important? How do you envision it in practice? I mean, really, what is unification? What does it look like in your opinion?
Thank you so much. Yes, when we talk to people about a creative society, so many people don't understand what unification is. They don't understand, as Monika said, on which basis are we going to unite. And we want to unite on the idea of a better future for all of us, on the idea of the creative society. And I would also like to share with you my experience and my understanding. A few days ago, we took an interview with the director of the Slovak Olympic community here in Slovakia and talked about the unifying idea of the Olympic Committee of the Olympians. And thanks to that, I understood that we, know what unification is. Each of us knows what unification on the idea, maybe on a small scale. Athletes unite on the idea of winning a match. Teams of schools or researchers unite on the idea of finding a solution or solving some problem. Each of us definitely is a part of a team that aimed to find a solution or win. So we all know what unification is about. And now let's imagine that this team also includes different people, different nationalities that don't even have to sit in one place. They sit in different parts of the world. They have different religions, different social statuses, and yet when they solve a problem, they have one goal: to find a solution. Sports teamed to win, and that can unite us. We are different. We live on different continents. We have different social statuses, religions, but we all want a better future. So that's what can unite us. And that's what gives us a better future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katerina, for sharing your opinion. The creative society is a society which is beneficial for everyone. That's obvious. And that's the society which is going to make everyone happy and is going to make everyone enjoy the life. Anna, the next question I'd like to address to you. From your point of view, what are the most obvious benefits of the creative society from your opinion? Share with us, please.
So wie ich das sehe, Konstantin, wir leben in einem Stockholm-Syndrom.
The way I see it, Konstantin, we live under Stockholm Syndrome. And many people, actually a huge number of people on this planet Earth, are terribly afraid to face anything new, to experience anything new. We kind of live in a bubble, and we are afraid to get out of this bubble. People are afraid, but within the bubble, they somehow provided, and then suddenly in this bubble, a little slit forms, which is the creative society. If you have enough courage and interest, you can do something for yourself, something good for your family, for the future. You just open this slit and go out into freedom. That's all we can do. The creative society is really the only solution, an absolute solution for the entire humanity, all together, hand in hand, with love and humanity. And it's so simple. Thank you very much. Thank you. Indeed, it's such a great happiness and pleasure when you feel that you are a part of the team of people who are on the same wave with you, that you want the same thing. After all, each of us wants to live in a happy, safe, and a prosperous world. Josip, I would like to ask you, what do you think is necessary for the creative society to come true already now?
We should have built the creative society yesterday, because we are divided in every possible way, every possible thing. For instance, let's start from small simple things like soccer or any game, to big things like religions, countries, or skin color. We are divided in everything. And the only thing we need to do, it is very important that we work together, save the earth.
Und wie machen wir das?
How do we do that? By informing. The first stage that is relevant now, that is going on right now, it is the hardest stage, and it's very difficult to get the word out to people, to every person on the planet. But I think that every one of us, of 8 billion people, we know about the creative society. We inform people through all media, Facebook and all other media. It is very important to inform other people, because if one doesn't know that the creative society exists, without this information, one doesn't understand what it is. So how can we avoid destruction? Why is climate change happening? Because our greatest enemy is the climate. People don't know how can we do it. We make an effort to inform people in every way. Sometimes people don't have Facebook or Instagram or whatever, who don't have the internet, and people are talking by word of mouth, putting posters on the walls and all that. There's much enthusiasm. It's such a blessing to stick together, to do something together. You can just start with yourself. We are talking here now. Some of us have seen each other for the first time. We are having such a beautiful conversation right now that I could sit here, all day, because it's so beautiful.
8 Milliarden Freunde.
Let's love each other. Let's meet as friends, as billions of friends. We're going to make it work 100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear friends, for sharing your opinions today and answering our questions. Coming up closer to the conclusion, I'd like to say that if you would like also to participate in the international discussion as we are having right now with our dear friends, dear participants of the Creative Society Project, you are more than welcome to send us email to info@creativesociety.com. And if you still feel uneasy whether to send us email or not, I encourage you to do that, because the questions that we have discussed briefly today, and they were much more deeper discussed and shown at the International Online Forum, which took place on the 7th of May, We Are People, We Want to Live. We need to understand that all the problems that we're facing right now, these are not someone's problems. These are our problems. Because we're living in the world which has become very, very small, very, very small, and everything is interconnected. And if we want to start cleaning up in our home, we need first of all to make a general cleaning in our heads. We need to stop thinking in the consumeristic way of thinking, having the categories in our conversation, I, my, for me, it's mine. But start thinking in the categories of creative thinking when we are using the categories as we. Because truly, we have one place of living, which is our earth, and we all share the same value, which is life. That's why if you are feeling to contribute to the creative societies and become an active participant of the creative society, let's begin with a simple. Go to the official website, which is creativesociety.com, and send us email expressing your willingness to participate in the discussion with like-minded people like we have today in our conversation from other countries who are also willing to make a better future for all of us together. Dear friends, I truly honored to be with you today, listen to your answers, and I am very much thankful to you for contributing to building the creative society, the society that all of us are going to enjoy. Thank you very much for today's participation, and I'm very much hoping to see you in the next international discussions with other people from other countries. Thank you. Anna, would like you to add something.
Yes, thank you very much, dear viewers. I just wanted to say one thing. Remember that we are people. We want to live hand in hand all together. We want to make the Earth and our planet, our future, truly wonderful for our children. Thank you so much to the Creative Society Project. I'm thankful, I'm grateful to be with you. It's a great honor. Thank you. I also wanted to thank you all, friends. It is so sincere, heartfelt, such a heartfelt, sincere communication. And Creative Society seems to be such a great, awesome goal, but it is so easily achievable just with one touch. If each of us expresses it, if each of us becomes the embodiment of the Creative Society, then it will come very, very soon. I know it will. And I'm grateful to everyone who participates, who talks about the Creative Society, because informing about the Creative Society is really important right now. And it's also very gratifying, because it's a great joy to carry out the glad tidings. Thank you very much.